Well, hi there. I am here today at Iguanaland, which is an absolutely incredible upcoming zoo that is out in Florida. It's run by Ty Park, who has been just a major pillar of the reptile community for a long, long time. A couple of years ago, as you may be aware, we made a video about the green iguana. And in that video, we shared that the green iguana is probably not one of the better pet lizards that you could get, at least not for most people. And a lot of people thought, oh, well, that means that you hate iguanas. And I want to make it very, very clear. I love iguanas. I think iguanas are wonderful. In fact, just yesterday, I got to go out with Dave Kaufman and Chandler from Chandler's Wildlife, and we caught some iguanas, including a huge and amazing male green iguana, and we also caught a black spiny-tailed iguana, Tenosura similis, which it was amazing. It was amazing to catch them. I love seeing them. I don't happen to think either of those iguanas generally make great pets, but I gotta tell you, I fell in love with both of them, especially that spiny-tailed iguana. And given that they're invasive here in Florida, I was a little bit tempted to keep it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want a spiny-tailed iguana. I know this isn't a good one, but she was just so beautiful. Well, today I've come to Iguanaland, which is the top producer of iguanas in the United States at the very least. And I've got Chris here, who is their iguana specialist, to show me the top 5 pet iguanas that they have here at Iguanaland. And he's starting me off with what has been for a long time my personal favorite pet iguana. This is the banana pectinata. And I've been looking for one for years, because if you're looking for a great pet iguana, look no farther than this one. And so, Chris, I wanted to pick your brain a little bit about the banana pectinata. This was also on your list as maybe the best of them all. So I probably should have saved it for last, but I do have some other pretty exciting stuff for this list. But what would you say are the things that make this such a great pet?
Well, first of all, look at them. They're beautiful. Second of all, they don't get as big as green iguanas, which is a little easier.
Much smaller, because this is an adult female, correct?
This is an adult female. She's not going to get any bigger.
And males get just a little bit longer, quite a bit stockier, but still a real manageable size.
Yes, sir.
And you're going to show me how to sex iguanas, I think, before we leave here today. Yep, I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah. It's really not as complicated as people think to probe a lizard. Mm-hmm. It's just more of not knowing and being scared to do it. It's first time you do anything, you're going to be a little nervous, You're going to be
and you probably
used to it.
Probably could injure them if you did it wrong.
And that's that's why most people are scared to do it, because they think, it's possible to, there's a membrane in there that you can rupture if you are too rough.
That makes sense. So you were saying the size is really good.
Yeah, size.
What else do you like about these guys?
Well, the personality, that's going to be number one. As far as, look at that. See?
I love this.
That, and they don't nearly eat as much as a green iguana too.
That's a big deal.
That's a little food cost. Greens aren't cheap these days.
No. And what do you feed these guys?
They get greens every day, mixed with fruit, veggies, all kinds of fruit, papaya, cactus fruit, guava, all kinds of vegetables mixed in with their greens, carrots, squash, sweet potato. Yeah, they get it all. They're pampered.
Do they get some insects as well?
Some chow mixed in there. Yeah, and insects twice a week for adults. Baby spiny-tails, they have to have baby crickets to start out. They got to. It's a must. Or another source of small, maybe like soldier fly larva. There's good starter stuff like that. But babies have to eat crickets every day and greens to start out. And as they mature to adults, it's mostly switch over to vegetarian.
Okay.
Well, not vegetarian, but
more veggies.
More veggies as adults.
So as far as food goes, a lot like a bearded dragon. And the size is also very similar, so probably similar amounts to a bearded dragon, which is really different than what you have if you have like a green iguana or even, a rhino iguana, any of these giant iguanas. But this is still a sizable lizard that's really pleasant to interact with. They're probably one of the best iguanas to handle. It's not going to hurt you in the same way that a lot of the bigger iguanas will. Even if it bit you, it would hurt. I got bit by that similis yesterday. It was no picnic, but definitely better than being bitten by an adult green iguana.
Yeah, they got claws too, just like any iguana. But
Now yesterday, something I discovered was that I actually got cut up worse from the tail of that similis than I did from the bite. And these tails are sharp. They're probably not going to whip you with them like a big green will, but you got to be careful with them.
They don't call them spiny-tails for nothing.
Yes. And that's a big part of their defense. And that's so what would you say are the biggest cons to these guys?
Cons? Well, there's not many. I mean...
Yeah. Well, no, for an iguana, not at all.
I say for most, it's probably the price. Not most people can afford how much they cost.
Yeah, they're a little more expensive.
Yeah, but...
harder to find as well.
Yeah, and a little rare. But cons, other than that, just... They're very tropical animals, so they do not do well with cold. You want to make sure you realize that before you get one.
Yep.
If you're keeping them outside and where it gets cold, you have to make sure you have a hide or where they can go and stay warm, like we do.
Yep. So definitely good UVB exposure.
Good UV.
Good basking
UVA.
spots. A lot of vertical space, right, to climb.
Yes.
Being an iguana, they need some space. Not nearly as much as a green, but a lot of space.
Yeah. You can go a lot smaller and closer than like a green iguana. Because the green iguana is actually the longest iguana there is. Not a lot of people know that.
No.
They're the
Doesn't
longest
surprise me though. Man,
Yeah.
we found some big ones.
Yeah.
That is awesome. All right, well let's check out the next one.
All right.
Next on our list is one that's going to come as a big surprise because this is a green iguana. And I've become somewhat notorious for telling you that green iguanas do not make good pets. And to be perfectly honest, when it comes to care, this green iguana has all of the same cons that your typical green iguana has, except for one, and it's a big one: personality. This is an albino green iguana. And the albinos, well, they don't see well. Albino iguanas, like most albinos, they don't produce any melanin. And they don't produce any melanin in their eyes, and as a result, this is a basking species. They're hypersensitive to light, and they usually end up very nearly blind. And that is definitely a con. It's definitely a little bit questionable from a moral standpoint, but from a behavioral standpoint, as a result of not being able to see very well, they become much more mellow and much more trusting of people than our other green iguanas. And that's really the biggest problem with most green iguanas, is they're like little monsters that really generally dislike people, dislike interaction. Well, when they're albino, all of that changes. And so this can actually be a very, very personable lizard. Of course, the main reason that it's personable is because this mutation leads to blindness. Chris, what do you have to say about these albino iguanas?
Like you said, yeah, the cons are the same, but the positives outweigh the cons. Like you said, their vision is not as good, so that's like a ticket for them to interact with you.
He's trying to back up.
Yeah, you might have to. Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, just slow him down. You want to try the other one now?
Let's switch to a girl.
Yeah.
You're all right. You did great, buddy.
This one's pretty mellow, I think. She's the oldest, I think.
I'm going to add something too. I mean, these are breeder albino green iguanas. So these are not iguanas that have been handled in the same way as pets. And you can see, I mean, they're still very
mellow,
pleasant.
yeah.
You would know there is actually a blue green iguana in here that sees like a normal iguana. He's nowhere to be seen. He's been spazzing out, running all over the place. The three albinos, they're just hanging out with us here, aren't you, buddy? Aren't you? Yeah, but tell me more about these lizards.
So yeah, with albino iguanas, they can't see good, so they don't have that stimulation that they get that frightens.
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of scare response that you get from basically every other green iguana you're ever going to see.
So it's like if you green iguana sees you coming, they see you from like 20 feet away. These guys don't see you until they hear you or smell you. And so they don't have that sense to run like a green iguana does. They're not flighty as like a green iguana. Once they get used to being touched, which I recommend doing as soon as they're hatched, or as soon as they're like right away, because like look at her, she does not mind at all being touched.
Look at this dude.
But
hey, buddy.
I mean, of course, like any animal, if you never mess with it, it's not gonna be used to it. So like if you had a albino iguana and you hatched it out and put it in a cage and just threw food in there every day, and then after it turned a year old, you picked it up, it's gonna be scared too because it doesn't know what's going on. But that's easily avoided by just going and pet them each time you feed them. Just give them a pet before you put their food down, and that's like positive reinforcement.
I love it. I love it. All right, let's see what else you got. All right, so this is an iguana that I've seen before because I remember that floppy comb, but I really wasn't too aware of them as far as where you would even go to get one. But today you taught me I could get one here. So what is this and why is this on our list? Because it is a cool iguana.
This is a Bakeri spiny-tailed iguana, and they are so cool because first of all, their habitat's only 10 square miles, and they live solely in the mangroves their whole lives. So they come from a 10 square mile island, which is Utila Island. That's the only place they exist in the world, and that's why they're so endangered, because their habitat is disappearing. And that's one of the things when we sell them, we donate the money for conservation.
Oh, that is super cool.
Yeah.
That is super cool. Yeah, in fact, that's one of the things that Iguanaland does big time, is it provides a lot of money, even the money from sale of lizards in the future, from the cost of visiting this zoo. A lot of the proceeds from that go to conservation all over the world, especially to help iguanas and just conservation generally, and that's super cool. So if you want to support conservation, one way you can do that is by coming here to Iguanaland once it's open, and in the meantime, by getting your animals from Iguanaland. Incredible.
Them and only one other type of a knoll are the only lizards that live in the mangroves their whole life. And that's a pretty fun fact. Other than that, like they're very mellow too, just like bananas almost. And that beautiful powder blue they get, when they're warmed up, they just look amazing. And you see these spikes, they just flop over like a radical hairdo right there.
Yes. Yeah, if you get a male, you have to name him Fabio.
Fabio.
I think it's an absolute must with that hairdo.
And you notice how larger the spikes are on the males.
Yeah,
female. See the females, they just got little tiny spikes.
Very short. Now, I would normally say for cons, it's real hard to find these. But you guys produce actually quite a few of them most years. And so if you're looking for one, just contact Ty Park down here at Iguanaland and tell him you want one. Oh, it can happen. These are incredible. These are incredible. Thanks for teaching me about these guys.
No problem.
Let's see what else we've got. All right, so next on our list is an iguana we've covered before, but we didn't get to show you guys a full-size individual. So this is a male and a female rhinoceros iguana. And these are part of the genus Cyclura. They are sort of the ultimate iguanas, I'd say. These are definitely not for everybody because of their size, but their diet is really good, right? Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, this is just Missouri herbivore diet, or tortoise chow, everyone calls it.
And then what else do you feed them on top of that?
Greens mixed with veggies and fruit. They get that 3 times a week. They get pellets twice a week, and they get 2 skip days because they're big lizards, and they can go a day. It actually boosts their appetite up if they don't eat a day. They tend to get a little.
They can definitely get a little obese if they're overfed.
You can definitely overfeed them too.
Yeah, and this should be a very long-lived lizard, which can be a con for some people, pro for others. But these live for a ridiculous amount of time for a lizard. And but they're going to be good for people who don't want to feed insects. A lot of the iguanas we've talked about that are more reasonable, they require insects. These guys, he's like a truck.
Yeah,
he's like a truck. So what would you say are the biggest cons to rhinoceros iguanas?
He's like, where's the pellets? The biggest cons is probably their size. They're the biggest. They're like the heaviest. That's probably the biggest con. Look at this is like probably the minimum.
Yeah, this is like my bedroom. You know, this is great. And a lot of UVA, UVB over a large space, a lot of heat.
Yeah, so you gotta have the means for the habitat for them, enclosure. Gotta be able to afford that, and you gotta be able to keep yourself healthy so you can live long, to take care of this animal that lives long.
I like the way you put that.
And so you gotta think about that. If you're partying, smoking cigarettes and all that, your lizard's probably gonna live longer than you.
Yeah.
So that can be a con as far as, I mean, it could be a plus or a con, depending on how long you plan on having a pet.
They remind me of a dog-tortoise hybrid that, you know, usually they're very, very pleasant, but they could bite your hand off. You know, it is just like that, but they are unbelievable creatures. And really all the cyclura iguanas are like this. We just kind of picked one to be our representative. The rhinoceros iguana.
Yeah, this is Booker. He's a good boy.
Well, these are amazing. Last but not least is an iguana I'm extremely excited about. Now, obviously, this one, he's a breeder male, and he is glorious. He's not used to being handled, so he's actually acting exactly like the similis that we caught with Chandler. But this is another Ctenosaura pectinata iguana. They haven't been differentiated as their own species just yet, but as you can tell, this is considerably larger than the banana pectinata that we looked at before, and the color is different. This is what they call a pied pectinata, and I'm particularly excited because Ty Park, who owns this place, has told me I get to take one with me back to the reptile room. And so here in a minute, I'm going to pick one of these glorious iguanas out for my very own. But Chris, I was hoping you could tell me a little bit more about why the pied pectinata makes such a rad pet, because you're honestly the one that totally sold me that I should take Ty up and invite one of these to the reptile room.
I mean, they sell themselves.
Oh, the colors. This is just unreal.
But yeah, they're just like a banana, but like you said, they're a little larger. They're closer to size as the blue pectinatas. Blues seem to be the largest, and they're about the same.
And this is a big male. Even though this is bigger than a banana, this is a reasonable size for most people.
Yeah, he probably won't get much bigger. He's like full grown. But yeah, come on, it's like a Dalmatian lizard.
Oh yeah.
Woo!
Diet's the same as with the banana pectinata, right?
Yes.
And what would you say are some of the biggest cons to these guys?
Cons?
Probably that they're a little bit bigger.
Only cons, it's not too much of a con.
It's also a pro. It's also a pro for sure.
I say for most people that I see people not wanting to keep them because of insects. They have to eat insects too, and a lot of people don't like dealing with insects. So if you don't like insects, then that's a con for these guys because they need insects. Other than that, there's not many cons. They're great.
I think these pectinata iguanas, I mean, they're the iguana for me, and they're going to be the iguana for me. Let's go pick one out.
All right.
All right, so Ty has been super generous, and he wants to donate one of these pied pectinata iguanas to the reptile room. So we will have an iguana that you can come see there very soon. And I'm going to pick one out. And so I'm really going to be looking for one that's really, really tractable, okay with humans, because it's going to be, you know, an animal for outreach to really touch the lives of a lot of people. So let's
Shouldn't be too hard.
Investigate. Oh, look at these guys.
Yeah.
You can tell how cool they are just generally.
Yeah, just hanging out.
I don't want them to jump out when I open the door. Let's see here. Yeah, go on, guys. You said if they run away, you'll catch them, right?
Yeah. Always.
There we go.
That's the one you were holding before.
I think you're right. Let's see here. This is
I'll
my
just
experiment.
go for this one right here.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just doing the experiment to make sure that is, yeah, it's consistent. Okay, so this is one of my finalists. This is definitely my finalist from that enclosure.
Look at him. He's just smelling you. He's not scared at all.
No, not a bit. That's an incredible one. You know what? I think I'm just gonna call it.
You think you found one?
I think that's the one. So we're gonna find out if it's a male or a female?
Yes, sir.
Oh boy. Oh man. And I heard we're gonna get to see some rhino iguanas hatching out of eggs here in a minute.
Oh yeah.
This day just keeps getting more and more incredible. See how green they are as babies? Isn't that wild? That color change is gonna be really fun to observe.
It is. It's neat. It's like.
Is that called an ontogenic color shift? Is that right, Mr. Kaufman?
That is correct.
All right. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. I love this guy. All right, let's find if it's a male or a female. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. All right.
All right, let's
I get to hold it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm now here with the Ty Park, who is the owner and creator of Iguanaland, and he's shown us just an incredible time. We've had just an amazing time today. Thank you for all that you do for conservation, for this hobby, and for me. I'm so excited about this little lizard, and I'm excited to learn from you how to probe them.
Absolutely. By the way, welcome, guys. So this is a pie pectinata, correct?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So when I probe these guys, I just gently turn them over, like that. Okay. I could tell this is a male already. You could see the bump already. You saw the bump moving.
Yes.
So
hemipeno
hemipeno bulge. You also see this little line here. That's where you want to probe. Yeah, deeply it goes in. You don't want to hold this too tight. You want it to slip off as you go in when it meets the end. See how my fingers go? So don't put too much pressure on it. So you want to grab it gently and put them in. When you feel the pressure, your finger will slide off.
That's great.
Then, that's how much you probe. So that's the male. Female typically probe only about that much.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool. So this is
I
a little boy.
When I hit female, I usually do the other side, just in case. Because, as you know, they have two hemipenis. Mm-hmm. And you can see now, they're both probe male.
Yep. So
and
this is a little boy. Yeah,
they seem to be very gentle.
Oh, he's amazing.
And this is your pet.
He stood out in the group. He's going to be an incredible outreach animal.
Yeah.
What should we name him? He's going to need a name for the reptile room. So be sure to comment. If you're looking for a pet iguana, contact Ty, contact Iguanaland. Not only does it support this incredible facility, but it also supports conservation in a really big way. Ty, thank you again. Thank you for this iguana. Thank you for having us here. It's been such a pleasure getting to meet you. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
All right, well, I can't even leave yet because now we're going to go watch those rhino iguanas hatching. This day just keeps on going.
When you're in the incubation room, we have two actually. This is a smaller one. I usually keep this at about 86. All right. Mainly I hatch out iguanas in here. Right now we're kind of at the end of hatching for all the rock iguanas. These are still to be hatched. We hatched out probably close to maybe 550 Sakura so far. Right. So I want to show you. Here's a clutch that's hatched recently. I wait for them the belly to close up, and they have. So they're gonna be going outside, probably today or tomorrow. Now here's one that's hatching.
Look at that, guys.
These are rhino iguanas. Of all the Sakuras that we hatch here, these hatch the last. Usually Cuban and Lehi hybrid hatch first, and then these guys hatch last. They're almost a month behind the Cyclura nubila and Cyclura Lehi.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at these babies. Hi, guys. You got this. Well, this has been an incredible day. As always, like and subscribe, and we hope to see you real soon.
I'm behind the camera. Just ignore. Just rattle on and ignore me.
He's too handsome to be up front. You distract.